morning, Monday, May 11th. How are you? It's nice to see you all. Hope you had a nice Mother's Day weekend. We did. We had dinner here as a family, played some rummy. We had a nice day. All right, so today is Space Day. So we're going to do a couple snack activities with that in a minute. But first, Blake, happy birthday. I hope you have a wonderful day, and we're all wishing you many birthday wishes. Also, we have another star student today. It is Mark. So let's learn a little bit about Mark. He was born November 16th. He was born in Westlake at St. John's Medical Center. So were my kids. His favorite color is red. Favorite food, pancakes. Favorite book, The Titanic. Favorite movie, The Incredibles. Favorite sport, running. Nice. Favorite thing about yourself? He is good at drawing and he is a hard worker.
I don't feel like she could be louder right now.
Oh, the dog, I know. Sorry, Mark, that Roxy's in the background sniffing around for food. All right, here's a picture of Mark. He was helping his family clear branches.
Very nice.
Working hard. All right, so how many people in your family? There are 3. Mom, Dad, and Mark. And he has a betta fish named Roman. Favorite pet or other animal? Cheetahs. Nice. What do you like to learn at school? Math. Who do you most admire? My friend Sophia. She can run faster than me sometimes. His hobbies are playing with trucks and cars, drawing, making things with perler beads, and riding his bike. He's really good at cutting down dead branches outside. Yard work. I can see that big pile. What do you want to be when you grow up? Maybe a tree cutter, but I don't really know yet. That's fun. All right, Mark, well, congratulations on being star student today. Maybe have a mystery item in a bag, have Mom and Dad try to guess what it is. Show your stuffed animals to Grandma and Grandpa, read a book later as a family. That'll be fun. All right, so today, friends, we're gonna celebrate space. I saw these 2 activities and I kind of combined them together. So the first one, you need Oreo cookies and you need this little printout. You don't have to print it out, but I will attach it in the email. So if you look, it has all the phases of the moon. Okay, there's no quiz later, so don't worry about memorizing it. We are currently here, waning gibbous. Next, we will be last quarter. So we're kind of going this way. All right, so if you find Oreo cookies, all right, Dylan, if you can come down here, please. What you can do is try to make your Oreo with the filling match what the moon looks like. So you see how the moon is half shaded and half you can see it lit? So I did that with my Oreo. These were a little trickier. This is the Crescent. So I have just a little bit of the white icing. New moon and full moon, those were easy.
Those are super easy.
Those are super easy. Waxing crescent, same thing. First quarter, you'll see I had to flip it. Now there's the white on that side.
You did make one mistake, Mom.
I did what?
You did. Well, the full moon is all lit.
Oh, Dylan.
So.
Oh my goodness. Thank you for quality control. So there's not even an Oreo there. You are correct. Dylan is right.
Well, there should be an Oreo, but it should be the one that has all the icing.
Rats. Now I have to do the whole project over again.
You messed up.
I'm sorry, friends. And they're all in Jackson and Mr. Zsigray's belly, so I can't even get one real quick.
I think we're gonna have to give you a quality, like lose some brownie points on this.
I'm sorry. Dylan is absolutely right. This Oreo needs to have a full thing of icing. So now that you know what not to do, you can work on that at home. Okay, now I'm gonna shift over here just a little bit, Dylan. Okay, so this is constellations. I don't know if you and your family really look at the constellations in the sky. I was never great at finding them, and again, I'm gonna attach these. You can print them out, but you don't have to. You need toothpicks and little marshmallows. So you'll see here, this is a picture of the Little Dipper. And it is a count kind of thing where you have to go 1, 2, 3, 4 to connect it all together, dot to dot, if you will. So I recreated the Little Dipper here. So you'll see I have the 4 that make the square and then kind of the tail.
That's cool.
Thank you. Cassiopeia. So again, here was the dot to dot, 1, 2, 3, 4, 5. And then I recreated it here, 1, 2, 3, 4, 5. This one has Orion on the back also. The Big Dipper is on here. This one just needs to flip a little bit. Jackson says that the bottom 2 stars of the Big Dipper point to the North Star. So Jackson, I remembered your fact. All right, this one is tricky. I don't know if it's Draco or Draco, but this one is tricky. But you could do your dot to dot and then try to recreate that if you like this activity. All right, friends, we have a new book today, so stay tuned. All right, friends, today we are going to start Invisible Stanley. So it's another book in the Flat Stanley series. I'm not sure it's exactly the next book. I kind of went through all the Flat Stanley books I had to find one that would get us through the end of these episodes. And this one had the perfect amount of chapters. So if he's grown up a little bit since the last one, that's okay. We'll figure it out.
We're gonna hold it against you.
You are just like the Oreos. All right. Invisible Stanley. Let's read the prologue. All right, here's our picture first of all. Okay. Stanley Lambchop spoke into the darkness above his bed. I can't sleep. It's the rain, I think. There was no response from the bed across the room. I'm hungry too, Stanley said. Are you awake, Arthur? I am now, said his younger brother. You woke me. Stanley fetched an apple from the kitchen and ate it by the bedroom window. The rain had worsened. I'm still hungry, he said. Raisins. Shelf, murmured Arthur, half asleep again. Crash, came thunder. Lightning flashed. Stanley found the little box of raisins on a shelf by the window. He ate one. Crash, flash. Stanley ate more raisins. Crash, flash. Arthur yawned. Go to bed. You can't be hungry still. I'm not actually. Stanley got back into bed, but I feel sort of different, I guess. He slept. All right. Here he is nibbling on the raisins by the window.
That's a no-no.
Uh-oh. All right. Chapter 1. Where is Stanley? Breakfast is ready, George. We must wake the boys, Mrs. Lambchop said to her husband. Just then, Arthur Lambchop called from the bedroom he shared with his brother. Hey, come here. Hey. Mr. and Mrs. Lambchop smiled, recalling another morning that had begun like this. An enormous bulletin board, they discovered, had fallen on Stanley during the night, leaving him unhurt but no more than half an inch thick. And so he had remained until Arthur blew him round again, weeks later, with a bicycle pump. And we remember that story. All right, here's the picture of Arthur summoning his parents. Hey, the call came again. Are you coming? Hey! Mrs. Lambchop held firm views about good manners and correct speech. Hay is for horses, not people, Arthur, she said as they entered the bedroom. As well you know. Excuse me, said Arthur. The thing is, I can hear Stanley, but I can't find him. Mr. and Mrs. Lambchop looked about the room. A shape was visible beneath the covers of Stanley's bed, and the pillow was squashed down as if a head rested upon it, but there was no head. Uh-oh. Stanley has the worst luck. Why are you staring? The voice was Stanley's. Smiling, Mr. Lambchop looked under the bed, but saw only a pair of slippers and an old tennis ball. Not here, he said. Arthur put out a hand, exploring. Ouch, said Stanley's voice. You poked my nose. Arthur gasped. Mrs. Lambchop stepped forward. If I may. Gently using both hands, she felt about. A giggle rose from the bed. It tickles. Oh my, said Mrs. Lambchop. She looked at Mr. Lambchop and he at her as they had during past great surprises. Stanley's flatness had been the first of these. Another had come the evening they discovered a young genie, Prince Haraz, in the bedroom with Stanley and Arthur, who had accidentally summoned him from a lamp. That must be a different story. Mrs. Lambchop drew a deep breath. We must face facts, George. Stanley is now invisible. You're right, said a startled voice from the bed. I can't see my feet or my pajamas. Darndest thing I've ever seen, said Mr. Lambchop. Or not seen. I should say, try some other pajamas, Stanley. Stanley got out of bed and put on different pajamas, but these too vanished, reappearing only when he took them off. It was the same with the shirt and trousers he tried on next. Gracious, Mrs. Lambchop shook her head. How are we going to keep track of you, dear? I know, said Arthur. Untying a small red balloon, a party favor that floated above his bed, he gave Stanley the string to hold. Try this, he said. The string vanished, but not the balloon. There, said Mrs. Lambchop. At least we can tell approximately where Stanley is. Now let's all have breakfast. Then, George, we must see what Dr. Dan makes of this. All right. That's the end of the chapter. See you tomorrow.